Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Saturday, April 19, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. Bear with me here. My computer is not really cooperating. It's interesting when we ask ourselves, did I manifest that? Like a power outage, did you, and messes things up. And it's like computers will get temperamental, believe it or not. And so when a power outage happens, it's a real shock, let's put it that way, to the system. And so it goes haywire and everything doesn't work. And then you got to reboot it several times and get it, like patting it on the back. And then you ask yourself, did I do this? No, not really. It's just a set of circumstances where the power interrupted the communication. And that's a lot of things that we say, well, did I create that? Or, did I, in other words, did you do it? Actually, the universe did it. For some reason, to learn or experience. Everything is about learning and experiencing, no matter what it is. We perceive it from different perspectives. And so you can use it two ways, because it could get you irritated, and then it takes us down that path, and then we attract more of irritation. Or we can say to ourselves, no, I'm not going to go down there. I'm going to focus on seeing everything working fine. And see, that's part of the habit that we can get into when we're faced with, things that we aren't even aware of that come in and kind of tap us on the back and turn around and throw cold water in our face. And this happens so much where you get up in the morning and you start doing your thing, and then you go out to get to your vehicle and you notice that there's a scratch or a dent that wasn't there before. Now, you can go one of two directions, right? You get ticked off, irritated, or you can just say, things happen. It can be fixed. It's not an issue. Doesn't need to be done today. And that really sets the pace for us. So that at the regular course of your day is fine. It usually ends up fine. But if you choose the other direction, your day doesn't end up fine. And who created that? Because of a reaction, we do. We create that. And we can. And a lot of times we've chosen, irritability. And we can get to the point where we can just say, I know the irritability is there. I've gone down that path so many times. I don't really care to go down that path. So you give irritability a hug, and you take an about face and you go the other way. And you just say, hey, not a big deal. You get people that will say, what do you mean it's not a big deal? Look at all this. Look what's happening. Look what's going on here. The sky is falling. And some people actually believe that the sky is falling. That, it's the end of the world. And it's how they perceive things. It's the end of the world. To them, it's the end of the world. And then there's those of us that say an opportunity and learning and experiencing. It's like if someone said to you, okay, this is going to take 5 years. Then you would be aware that it was going to take 5 years, right? If you trusted or believed whoever it was that said it was going to take 5 years, whatever the subject is. And then you say to yourself, okay, so you're aware of it, and so you're not going to pay much attention to it, and you're just going to leave it alone. But when someone says something's going to happen, we're going to do this, this, and this, in a very short period of time, you focus on it, right? And then it doesn't happen. And then what do we usually do is we say, well, that's not right to tell somebody that certain things are going to happen and then they don't happen, and then they don't bring it up or they don't discuss it. You've had that happen. I think we all have. Well, wait a minute, what happened to this? Or what happened to that? And how come this didn't happen? We focus too much on other people instead of focusing on what we want in our lives. And we don't. See, the biggest problem with that is that we really don't, like I said yesterday, we don't believe it, and it doesn't stick. And so we just blow it off. We just don't believe that we are what we are. And it takes time for us to embrace that fully and say, wait a minute, I can direct anything I choose in this life. I can manifest anything that I want in this life. Right? Now, do you believe it? Do you truly, deep within you, do you believe that you can manifest anything that you desire or want in this life? That's a question that should be asked more than once of oneself, because that's why you're going deeper within to identify the truth, the reality of your power. And your power is immeasurable because the God that you are. And the God that you are is tapped into, really, truly, all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. All of us are tapped into a massive, I guess the best, you could use all kinds of words for it, database. Okay? Data. And what is the data? Data is all the experiences that continually happen with all of us gods across this universe and all connecting universes forever. It doesn't go away. It accumulates. This is why whatever you can imagine, okay, whatever you can imagine, you can create. What's the holdup then? How come so many of us, we don't, that doesn't happen? What's the problem? Problem is, the challenge I would say, is that we have been so conditioned and so brainwashed and so programmed for so very long that we have forgotten completely of who and what we are, truly. We have forgotten that we are omnipotently powerful, supreme, manifesting, abundant beings that never die. We have forgotten all of those things. The only thing that we hold on to is the material physical world. And we know more and more that the material physical world is an illusion created by collective consciousness, us gods, throughout existence and beyond. To do what? To experience, to be entertained. And that's what we do. We entertain ourselves. Is this some big, huge, let's say, assignment or mission? Well, if you really begin to comprehend that all of us make up one consciousness. It's like the cells in your body, right? You've got trillions of cells in your body. And all those cells are independent of one another, believe it or not. And they carry information and move here and communicate with this and communicate with that 24/7. Never ending until the body ceases. Now, if you look at us, balls of light. That's the best way you can put it, because that's what we look like. Balls of light. And when you look at this so that we can master it, see, without the ego mind. And how do we master it? We go within and we leave it alone so that we can view it and watch it to see what it does and how it operates. Once you've figured that out, then you learn how to master it by leaving it alone. The only way you can master the ego mind is leave it alone. Someone might say, one might say, well, that's just silly. How the heck do you leave your mind and ego alone? You move into the now like we do in these meditations. You make sure that you're at a comfortable position. You have no outside distractions. That you're relaxed into your body. That you're as still as a statue. That you're focused on your breath rising and falling. You're in total silence. And you're being. And that is the doorway to the God that you seek, that you really, truly are. Because you're not that body. And it's a real fine line for us to, it's a very fine line between thinking that we're the body, believing we're the body, and that's it. Civilizations go through a kind of a metamorphosis, different stages of development, like any species. Whether it's a bug or a human or Pleiadian or Sirian or Arcturian or Andromedan and on and on and on. There's so many different civilizations. And we come to stages. We go through stages. And it's like this civilization is at a crossroads of deciding whether it's going to become spiritual or stay in material physical. And see, being spiritual means that you command, that you direct material physical. Right now, it's directing you. That's the changeover, the switch. You become aware that it's running you. This isn't a negative. You discover that it's running you. It's directing you. It's guiding you. Influencing you every step of the way. And so you begin to realize that, hey, wait a minute. How am I going to master this thing called an ego mind? How am I going to do that? Since it's the thing that's guiding me and it directs me. And how can I? Well, you leave it alone. Just like we do in these meditations. It's the only way that you're going to master the ego mind. And the ego mind is a good thing because it teaches us. There will come a time where you will have mastered your ego mind. You'll come across another species, and you'll see that they are heavily ensconced, so to speak, in ego mind. And you'll know that because at one time you were. See what I mean? Not a judgment at all. And what do you think happens then? Well, you're able to assist them. Wouldn't it have been nice if someone came along after you've had so many visits or, trips around the sun, and say to you that, hey, I'd like to show you a way where you can master your ego mind. What would be your response? Be interesting, wouldn't it? Most of us would just kind of poo-poo it as being crazy or ridiculous. But there are a few of us that would say, absolutely. What happens when a civilization does choose to evolve in a much higher vibrational frequency and a much deeper and expansive spirituality? What happens? Well, everything shifts. It completely goes through a metamorphosis. Our perspective is totally different. Our direction, how we perceive things is totally different. We no longer vie for control and power and wealth. We love ourselves and each other, and we attract whatever it is that we desire, that we would like to have in our lives. And it is quite interesting because, we are so embraced with material physical life. And we are. Is there anything wrong with that? No, nothing wrong with it. You choose, you like it, and then you start to realize that, I can't sit in this pool forever. I got to get out, move around, stretch my legs and dry off. And to see what else I'm about. Every now and then you'll see somebody get out of the pool. And that's basically an analogy saying that the people that get out of the pool are beginning to discover really, truly what they are. Period. And so they no longer feel compelled to stay in the pool with everybody else. And they're not worried about being rejected. Not at all. Not even a smidgen. Or, what others may think of them. Because we have this, and every one of us have a full satchel of everything that we will ever need on an endless journey. And it's all housed within us. There's no way we can lose it. No way. It's just no possible way that we could lose any of it. Now, if you don't remember it, and it's there, then we talk about discovery and you go within. Like in these meditations, you're going within. You're in the now. You have left the ego mind. It will not dare go into the now. It wants you to stay in yesterday and tomorrow. That's where it resides. This is why we suffer. Because the majority of this population on this planet, this civilization, this species, lives in yesterday and tomorrow. Not today, not now. And it's a proven fact. It's not just made up. It's a fact that the majority of the civilization lives in yesterday and tomorrow. And why is that? It's all they know. They haven't been given any other avenue. Religion isn't an avenue, right? Religion is about groups of people believing different ways. That's all it is. Groups of people believing different ways. And am I saying, is it negative? No, it's not negative. But there are a lot of people come to full circle where they start realizing, I don't need to do this stuff here. I want to go over here and do that stuff, not this stuff. And it's your choice. Isn't anybody else's. And it's your direction. And it's you manifesting it. And it comes in. It's not going to, see, it's kind of delicate and it's pretty intricate at times, but we have this stigmatism, okay? And we always fall back on the stigmatism. Stigmatism is what? Material physical life. Many of us get frightened or fearful when we start thinking about going within. How do we know that? I have talked with thousands of people over many years that have expressed that they're fearful about going within. Because, why? It's an unknown. They have a fear of what they might find. And what's doing that? What is actually doing that? Ego mind, insecurity, worry, stress, fear, anxiety. All ego mind. All based on an illusion. Now, when we say to ourselves, I've been out here, I've been in the material physical world, no telling how many lifetimes. But now it's time for me, I want to find out who and what I am. I want to find out what I am. Because you then begin to realize that you're not the body. See, it's the first step. You begin to discover that you're not the body. And that's not a negative either. And so you say, okay, so what am I if I'm not the body? Which is great, because you're starting to ask yourself questions. And then you say, okay, so I'm gonna go on this journey. I am going to go within, and I'm not afraid of whatever I come face to face with. Dark parts, light parts, in between parts. And then embrace it. Acknowledge it. Identify it. And it just fade out. It's like all of our fears that we carry with us. Many of us carry them throughout this lifetime. And others. Once we face them, they disappear. And since we know that we're 24/7, we're manifesting all the time. We never stop. We're always creating. We never stop doing these things. So if we're going to be manifesting all the time, doesn't it make sense that we're aware of what we're manifesting? When right now this civilization has no clue that it is the power that manifests everything on this planet. Period. And it's a discovery for each and every one of us, whether it's this lifetime or the next or the next. That's what this is about. It isn't about being at the top of the ladder. It isn't about being rich and powerful. It isn't about any of that stuff. That's entertainment. It really is entertainment. And it's fun entertainment. Believe you me, if you've ever experienced the fact where you have nothing, right? You've lost everything. You have nothing. You don't even have a penny in your pocket. Nothing. You don't have a place to live. You don't have any vehicle transportation. Nothing. But you know what happens? Something happens, and you feel light, buoyant. You don't feel burdened. You don't feel weighted down. And we don't realize this until later, until we actually experience not having. You start to realize that, wait a minute, man, this feels great. You really don't have any obligations. Those are gone. You don't have any real responsibilities except yourself. Right? You don't have any bills to pay or anything. It sounds strange, but that comes in. And it gives you a really huge long-term boost, and your perspective changes, and your level of appreciation and gratitude changes, and it becomes much deeper. And you have stuff, right? Now, most of us will have stuff. And the more stuff we have, the heavier we feel. Okay? Why is that? Because we're attached to the stuff. Now, when you have a lot of stuff and you aren't attached to it, but you enjoy it, and you know it's just temporary, you feel light. You know. You can compare. Now, most of us have never experienced that. So we don't know, because there isn't any comparison. We can only imagine, right? It's like you're walking down a dark alley because you want to take a shortcut home. You don't have a flashlight, but you say, I go past that alley all the time on my way home, so tonight I'm going to go down that alley. Now, as you go down the alley, the ego mind kicks in. It starts conjuring up all kinds of thoughts. And at first, it's not, because you just, nonchalantly just start, I'm going to go down that alley. You're not thinking about the boogeyman or any kind of stuff coming out of nowhere until you start getting down that alley, and then the ego mind kicks in and goes, I don't know if this is a good idea or not. And you hear noises. But when you say to yourself, you go down the alley, you have no enemies. The only way you can be harmed if you manifest it, have the body be harmed, you can manifest that by fearing. And you walk down the alley and everything's fine. All of us experience levels of burden, okay? You could have billions of dollars and feel heavily burdened. You could have 20 homes, 50 homes, 60 homes, and feel burdened. But when you realize, and this is the key, that everything is temporary, the only thing that isn't is the God that you are inside that body. That's the only thing that's real. One thing of saying, I know everything's temporary, blah, blah, blah. Another thing is feeling it, comprehending it. And then you realize that, whether you're here 10,000 years or 100 or 50, everything that you value as far as material physical is staying. You're going. You imagine how much more we would appreciate things if we really knew that everything was temporary. Everything was temporary. The reason that is that these bodies are temporary, and right now we don't have the opportunity to stay in them, for 20,000 years. We don't. And we have no guarantee, none of us do, on this planet, that we're going to wake up tomorrow morning. I don't care how old you are or not. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're 9 months old or 150. It doesn't matter. I know people that read the obituary every day. That's a hobby, I guess. They like reading the obituary to see who's left the body. We have so many choices And imagine how our lives would be if we knew that it was temporary and we deeply comprehended that. How much more we would appreciate and how much more we'd be in deep gratitude with ourselves before anyone else. Do you think it would change things? Oh, yes, it would. It would shift things greatly. But these are avenues that you can embrace or not. But one thing is constant. We are evolving in a massive spiritual evolution. Period. Isn't about money. Isn't about wealth and power. Isn't about who's the biggest and the baddest country on the planet. It is about spiritual evolution. And it's not talked about hardly at all. It should be front and center. And nothing is under God. Everything is of God. Okay? That's another thing that became twisted on this planet. Under God. All of us are of God because we're all gods. And to be able to identify that on an ongoing basis without feeling guilty or, oh, I don't deserve that, and oh, that's not true, or, whatever. And to embrace it fully. And to deeply and eternally love ourselves forever. And to be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with ourselves forever. And to be in deep gratitude forever, eternally. This is a state of being. It is a choice that we make. It isn't about, it isn't through ego mind where people say, oh yeah, I've accomplished this and I've done that and, blah, 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 blah. That's all ego mind. You see, in heart mind, you don't feel motivated to tell people what you've done or where you're at with yourself. You just are. And we all have that. It's not like, 3 over here have it and 100 over here don't have it and 100 over here have it and 500 over here don't have it. We all have it because it's part of us. It's part of the gods that we are. We're the highest vibrational frequency as gods, and it's actually immeasurable. We're omnipotently powerful. Our light is so bright that, like I say all the time, it's not just it's fact. 1,000 suns burning bright, and us, a ball of light in front of those suns pale in comparison to our light. We are collectively the creators of all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. Period. All species, all civilizations, throughout existence and beyond. Way before we were one. Like I said, have created universes and planets and you name it. And so what do? We experience. We choose to experience. So the more we experience, the more we're exposed to, the more we progress. If you lock yourself away in a cave for 50 years and then you come out, what do you think would happen? You wouldn't have a clue. And believe it or not, the majority of the people in this country are like that. So in the quiet time of this meditation, the things that are absolutely spectacular are happening right now and are always taking place. And that is for you to discover the God that you are within that body, the pure consciousness, that everything is temporary, that you are an omnipotently powerful, supreme, abundant being, a manifesting being that never dies. And you make that. You differentiate between material, physical, and the God that you are. I'll join you in the meditation. I'll return to close out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose, and an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still, relaxed into your body, focused on your breath rising and falling. Look at something in nature as if it were for the very first time. Maybe a tree, a bug, rock, flower, whatever it is. Just gaze into it, through it. This will help you see the purpose of life. As you stare into the flower or tree, open your eyes and your being to experience something of the beyond. So in other words, you look through it and you begin to comprehend that you are it and it is you. And then you begin to discover the true meaning of life. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, the following morning. We will return here Sunday, April 20, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest, high, deepest of the deepest, deepest, purest of the purest, purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's happening within you nor outside of you. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in